The things that really stand out for me in that is the complexity and the pace of change that we're dealing with inside organizations. Increasing complexity and that velocity of change increasing makes it more of a struggle, and the need to have to reevaluate your organization, and probably why some of those organizations in good to great are now gone, right? The aspect of design when it comes to this organizational performance, as product managers, we have to think of design, maybe, that the product customer interface, the user experience type interface. How are you using design?
Well, design, some people would say organizations actually don't really exist because they're not a physical thing, right? Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of physical things or artifacts that communicate what an organization is. So if we just go back to an organization is information, then all those artifacts that represent that organization or represent those ideas and concepts, everything from understanding the needs and requirements of our stakeholders, including customers, to the strategies that we lay out and visually display with business models and different ways, and goals that we write down and track, along with systems and the way we describe our systems and the metrics that we use. All of those things are artifacts. And so the design of those, really the most important issue is the alignment of those things. And so that they're consistent and coherent, and along with the artifacts of the culture, which are, a lot of people think, organizations are pretty squishy to get your arms around. They really think culture is squishy because we really can't see values. And so when we talk about designing culture, we're talking about designing things in a way that is consistent with the values that we want people to exhibit or in the organization. And so the artifacts that we have the ability to design that affect culture greatly are the rituals. How do we do things in the company? How do we have meetings? What are those rituals? And we often don't call them rituals because that's what, anthropologists call them as opposed to business people. But that's what they are. And we have symbols, everything from, reserved parking slots to the type of office you get to, in years past, separate washrooms and eating facilities for different categories of them. Those are really important symbols. Those tell you things about the values of the company. And same with the heroes. We hold certain people up and we tell stories about founders sometimes, or just the great engineers that are the famous ones in the company. At least they're famous in the company, right? And we tell stories about them and they're held up and revered. Well, what the values that their behaviors represent are part of the culture. When they become heroes, they should be the people that are displaying the values or the behaviors that we value. So when we talk about design, it's not like a thing, but yet we use some of the design thinking and design tools to design all of those things, and from the systems and how we operate and to the heroes that we have, and what are the criteria we use to select heroes and to hold them up. And so all those things are designed, whether consciously or unconsciously. And what we're proposing is that you do that consciously and you think it through and then test it and adjust it.